Hello everyone and welcome. This is DC Sparks in my first ever Let's Play. We will be playing FS19, which has been out since about November of last year. There's been quite a few mods that have been made for the game since then, and personally I've been waiting for them to come out. I have played FS17 in the past, really like the changes that they've made for FS19, and I'm kind of interested in sharing some of my experiences with you guys. I will admit, I don't know everything about this game. I do have to look up a lot of tutorials and things. If you have questions about something I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, or you want to discuss it, please leave a comment below. I'll respond to your comment appropriately. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. Going to maximize my game so that my game audio is going to kick in. And we're going to do some interesting stuff here. Hopefully this will make for an interesting experience for not only for me, but for you guys as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is, as you've seen everybody do, they log in and they pick their game, right? And of course the game map that I'm going to be playing is actually going to be the Pleasant Valley map that you just saw on my save game. And I'm going to do a start from scratch. I'm also going to do something here that a lot of people don't. Again, FS19 Pleasant Valley is going to be my map. This is a 4x multi-fruit map. In my opinion, the Pleasant Valley series from Dajnet and the Industries series maps are some of the best maps out there. He puts a lot of time and a lot of effort into his maps. So if you haven't played one, you probably should go check it out just to see. He spends a lot of attention on detail, so it gives you a lot of options to play with. So we're going to go ahead and start up, and this is what I'm going to pick for my character. Now, interestingly enough, I have a mod that we're going to see in a little bit, and the hat's really not going to make much of a difference, but this is what I default go with. And here's a huge list of my mods, and if anybody needs a list of these mods, I'm sure I can get you a list so you can kind of see what's going on with it. You can see right here I've got the cowboy hat mod on, which is going to allow me to actually wear a cowboy hat, which is, I don't know, kind of fitting for the game. And it's a little out of the norm. So you can see here, these are the orchards and things, greenhouses that come with the Pleasant Valley map. So you'll need to download those if you want to use it. And I've got some other options in here for some tents and some things like that. Now, I do have Fast Night in here. I'm actually going to turn that one off. And then we're going to do a couple of other mods here that I'm going to turn off. If I can find them. We're going to leave the big one on. Money Tool. We don't want to be cheating, so we're going to take that one off. And there is one in here. I noticed they don't appear to be... Either they're not, well, they are in alphabetical order. I just don't see the one that I'm looking for here. So there's a multi-cheat mod that I'm running that I want to turn off. Let's see here. I'm betting it's this one up here that I don't. Nope, there it is right there, multi-cheat. So we're going to turn that one off. And that's basically the cheat mods. Let's go ahead and start this so that the music will kind of stop. Now, I'm sure throughout the whole Let's Play, I will be finding things that I need to add mods for, or I will be playing on other servers or other games with other people, and I'll find some mods, and I'll inform you guys when I add those, why I add them, and what their purpose is. But anyway, so you might have looked through there and seen that I did leave the player speed mod on. I'm going to use that a little bit. We're not going to go up to 20 times probably most of the time. I just feel like the native run speed in the game as they've created it, I kind of feel like it's a little bit slow. There's times where I think it should be just a tad faster, so we'll probably bump it up to the 3 times speed when we start actually playing the game. But that one really doesn't adjust too much on the cheating thing. I mean, I guess in real life you wouldn't run across 4 or 5 fields in just a few seconds, so it still could be technically considered a quote-unquote type of cheat mod. along with another one that you're going to see that I have in here, which is Lift Heavy Things, or the Lift Heavy Things mod. I'm kind of under the idea that some of the stuff in this game, as far as physics, which if you've played this before, you guys all know the physics are kind of janky, especially with logs and bales, things like that, especially when you're trying to use front-end loaders and things. And I get a little bit frustrated with some of that, so I like to be able to pick up a little bit larger logs and a little bit, and some of the bales that are created in the game, because in real life you can pick up some bales. Now, granted, you could argue that maybe the bales in the game are the larger square bales that you wouldn't naturally be able to pick up in real life, um, or not. It's a little hard to tell with the scale that they use in the game versus the size of the player and whether or not you would actually be able to pick that up. Just to give you a little bit of background on it, I was raised in an agricultural area. I did not do a whole bunch of this because I moved out of that area before and started pursuing other avenues of making money before I got into actually um, doing much of the farming. But I do have quite a bit of background and quite a bit of history in it. And I did live in the Midwest, so if you hear me refer to things and you're like, that's not the way I remember it, it kind of give you some context and some background, knowing that I come from the Midwest. So we're going to go ahead and start the map. And a couple of things I'm going to do off the bat. First of all, you're going to see here the cowboy hat, read me. So we're going to get rid of all these different things. And then we're going to hit enter. We're going to get rid of that. And I'm not really going to go over the map so much like as a walkthrough like most people do with map reviews. If you guys want to see that, I might do that in a different video for you. But we're going to kind of explore this map together because I'll be honest with you, I've ran across it a couple of times to see where things at. I've driven around in different vehicles, but I haven't spent a lot of time on this particular map for FS19. So there's going to be a few times where I'm like, oh, there's a road there that goes there. I didn't know that was there. So this, again, is going to be an experience, hopefully, for me as well as you. So I'm going to go ahead while I'm here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hit Alt-S because, yes, I am running seasons. And we're going to go ahead and get some of the crazy part out of here. I'm North America, so I'm going to run in Fahrenheit. But we're also going to bump this up to 24-day seasons. Yes, that's right. 24-day seasons. I'm going to go kind of crazy with this. So I'm going to give a YouTube shout out to one of the individuals that I watch a lot of their streams because I think they're very informative. He's got a really good grip on this game, and that would be Farmer Klein. If you want to get a breakdown on how seasons works and how all the intricacies are and everything, that guy has done some extensive research into seasons and really sat down and explained things to people. So if you want to go through that, you can. So this is one of the things that I'm going to have to work with here is crop rotation. I'm not used to that from Farm Sim 17. This is new in Farm Sim 19, and I'm trying to learn from him to learn how to do this right. I know there's some bonuses that we get and stuff like that. And the rest of these menus, except for this one's kind of new too. The rest of these menus kind of come from FS17. This tells you some of the resistances, and I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. And then obviously our planting season. Now you might notice that my colors are a little bit different than yours. I did go ahead and set, actually I'm going to get out of here. In my settings, I am running in colorblind mode right here. And I do that because it helps with the contrast on the map. So you can kind of see the growth states a little bit better sometimes. Because to me, the greens are too difficult to tell sometimes, and I'm not actually colorblind. So I switch it to colorblind mode so it makes life a little easier for me. Anyway, so as we go through here, you're going to see starting off in hard mode, I don't have any inventory for anything. There's quite a few products on this map. You can see here, this is a lot of the the orchards and the greenhouses that were added to this map. And there's also some products down here that we're going to have some fun finding out together about this. Obviously, this is cereal. Some of this, I'm not sure what that is. I'm guessing that's probably some sort of whiskey, and don't have a clue what that one is yet. So we'll be figuring some of that out together. And I'm also kind of guessing that some of this, trash, I'm guessing that some of this may be future plans. I know Dave, also known as Dashnet, that makes this map. I know that he's got a lot of plans for this. He works very, very hard on his maps, as I said earlier. So I'm 100% sure he is nowhere near done with this map. He's released 3 updates in a matter of about 3 months, so I'm expecting quite a few more updates to be coming as we go through things. Not going to go through much else on here. I will show you that right now I have a $500,000 balance because I did do the start from scratch. Generally, they give you this money so that you can buy your farm and you get started. We're going to do something a little bit crazier on this, though. I'm going to go through here, and most of you are probably familiar with the contracts that are showing up in FS19, so that you can actually do quote-unquote missions like we had in FS17. I prefer the term contracts on them anyway. I thought that was a much more appropriate term. And kudos to Giants for adding this into the multiplayer so that you can do this with multiplayer if you want to. So one of the crazy things that we're going to do here is we're actually going to go ahead and save the game. Oh, and I'm going to change the name before we do this too. Don't really care about the help window. I'm going to turn that one on and off. We'll turn our help icons off because I don't really use them much anyway. US dollars, miles, acres, interactive zone markers. At least for this, until, again, since I don't know the map, until I learn the map, we're going to leave the interactive zone markers on. Field info on. We'll leave that radio off because that, can get annoying. I'm going to play some background music that's probably better suited for it anyway. But everything else in here is pretty much going to stay the same. I'm going to leave the switch to trains on because these maps are notorious for using the trains. There are actually, I believe, 2 trains and 2 boats that are in use on this map. So we need to be able to tab to those. And then I'm also using a steering wheel in conjunction with keyboard. I don't use controller. So if you're hearing odd noises or anything like that, that might be where it's coming from. So I'm going to go over here and we're going to name this game Let's Play. We're going to leave the time scale at about 5 times. Economic difficulty, again, I'm going crazy. I'm going to turn this on hard. We're going to do traffic. Automatic engine start off. I actually use shuttle control, so I don't like that. I don't like to waste fuel or anything like that. I like to be able to sit in a vehicle if I need to jump up and go grab a snack or something like that. Stop and go braking, I'm going to turn that on because I like to stop and then go. We're not going to have the helpers refill. We're going to actually have to do it. Crop destruction on. And then some of this is going to be a little bit controlled by seasons. We're going to go ahead and leave the weeds on and go from there. So now that I've got everything kind of set up the way I want it, seasons is on 24-day seasons. We've got the game named and so forth. I'm going to save the game and I'm going to quit. Now, you might ask, why are you quitting the game? Well, the reason I'm quitting the game is because, again, here comes that insanity plug. I'm going to go edit the XML file and I'm going to change the money down to 0. So while I go do that, I'm going to pause the video, and as soon as I get it changed, I'll come back and I will show you how we're starting off with 0 money, and we'll talk more about why we're starting off, why I want to do it that way, and kind of what that means for the game and what my plans are. So let's pause the video, and I'll make my changes, and I'll be back. All right, we're back. We got my save game file edited. So we're going to go to career mode. And one thing I want to point out is it did not, however, save the name. I'm not real sure why it's doing that. I did have some technical difficulties trying to get done what I wanted to do. Ended up, I said something earlier about having a cowboy hat mod. Apparently that is causing a conflict, so I had to remove that. So anyways, you notice my money's at 0. We're going to go ahead and start. Make sure all the right mods are checked and unchecked. And we'll go ahead and start the game. Now, I do want to point out that while we're going through this, you'll notice that the loading of this map is going to take a little while. That's because the nature of the Pleasant Valley maps are usually pretty good size. And so therefore they take a little while to load. It actually loaded pretty fast, and it might have been because I got rid of the cowboy hat mod and there was no error in the log. So as you can see here, most things look pretty clean. There's a couple of things up here. There's some DDS files from Pleasant Valley HUDs. They have a little bit of stuff once in a while. It doesn't show up, but it's mostly pictures. The functions and everything are still there. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. So when I edited, oh great, I log back in and it's raining and it's cloudy. This is going to make for an amazing time. So again, you'll notice that my money in the upper right hand corner is at 0. And one of the other things I went ahead and did while I was troubleshooting is I purchased a pickup, and then I actually cleared out, if we come look at my finances, oops, that's the wrong, I need the money thing. I actually cleared out of the XML the purchase of the vehicle, so it doesn't show on my finances. Again, you can see I don't have any kind of a loan. And the way I'm playing this story as best I can is that we have moved into the area, so we obviously need some sort of vehicle to move us here or to get us here. We don't have a whole lot of money. Let's see if we can get this to save. Let's play. Let's see if it'll save the right way. And change my economic difficulty back up, because apparently that didn't save during the glitch I was having. So we'll go ahead and save that again. But anyway, so if we were to move into this area and we were to start being a farmer, we're brand new in this area, we would have a pickup truck or some sort of vehicle. And since we're in Farm Sim, we'll use the pickup truck. So I got the crappiest pickup truck that I could find, because, you know, I'm not real wealthy. I got 0 money to my name, but I have moved here in hopes of finding a new career path. I think I'm going to enjoy some farming. So you will notice on this map that there's really only one good place to set up your house, and we're going to set up our house up there. And let's see if we hit the 9 key to look at the map. You can kind of see it right up there above field 15. So we're going to pull out of the store here, and we're going to go see what our house placement area is going to look like, since we really can't do a whole lot of anything with it raining anyway. Now as we go through this, I'm going to try to do my best to kind of play it somewhat realistically. I used to try to play everything realistically and drive everything in cab, but sometimes that's not feasible. For one, we don't have a wide enough view to be able to see everything. The mirrors don't always work right, so I'm gonna try to do my best about doing most things realistically. I'm gonna use the roads, use the seasons. I'm playing on hard. I've got everything turned on, so you'll be able to see, you know, dealing with the weeds and dealing with everything. But anyway, try to drive on the right side of the roads. I think I've got traffic turned on. This dirt road, so I'm weaving all over the place, but it's going to take me a minute to get used to some of the controls on some of these. Remember, I am using a steering wheel, so trying to do my best judgments here. I think it's kind of cool how Giants made it so that the windshield wipers run when it's raining out. That's kind of a real small but neat addition. Y'all might also notice in the lower right hand corner, I've got the little green arrow. I think I mentioned earlier that I'm using shuttle control. Kind of enjoy using the shuttle control with my steering wheel. I've got an older steering wheel, so really all it's got front and back works out great for shuttle control. But using a steering wheel, I know some people don't use any kind of, well, I guess there's not a road there. Some people don't use their gear shifts for anything in Farm Sim, and I mean, you know, it's up to everybody's opinion what they do. But when you try to use the braking system or the fuel pedal system that they've got in here, to where you can push the brake pedal to go backwards, that really throws me off. And I passed it because I was talking. That really throws me off when I do that, because, you know, driving in real life, you're gonna push your gas pedal to go forward even if you put your vehicle in reverse. So kind of the way I look at it. Again, that's just a personal opinion. You guys can obviously do whatever you want, play it how you want. But anyway, so this little area right in here with the dirt squares, this is supposed to be where you would build your house, build your farm, start putting in some of your out sheds and stuff like that. And since I started off with starting from scratch and zeroed out my money, there's really no way to buy a house and place it on any of these blocks of land, because we don't really have any money to do that. So what I am going to do is, now that we've kind of toured around just a little bit to see where our house is supposed to be, I want to go back to the store, and we're going to start out, since we don't have any money, we don't have any way to buy or even lease any equipment, and we're new in the area, and with only this crap brown truck that we've got here, the bank's not going to loan us any money either. I know that kind of sucks, so we're not going to take a bank loan out. We're going to act as though the bank said no. I know the game's got the built-in functionality for just taking out a loan and going to town, and at a later time I might do that when I actually make some money. So I'm going to start out by doing contracts, since they're available. We're going to do contracts for other local farmers and start getting a name for ourselves, so that people will start to know who we are, start to trust us, and then we can work on getting that bank loan. We're going to stay, as far as sleeping, we're going to stay in one of the hotels here in town, which is going to kind of make it difficult at night. So we may have to work some long nights. I may do some off-camera sleeping so that you guys don't have to endure the dark nights if you're watching this, and see if we can get this going and have us a good old time. Alright, gotta watch out for them trains, because they definitely changed the way the trains work. So pretty sure I turned on traffic. Maybe they don't have the traffic spleens done yet for the map. That's okay. Traffic's kind of annoying anyway. Oh, we can cut through here. There we go. I think this is actually supposed to be a street anyway. So the reason I'm coming back down here to the shop is, if you're playing this, you very well know that when you lease the equipment to do a job, the equipment pops up down here at the store, and you have to drive to whatever the field is. Whoop. Parked like a local farmer, probably. Let's see here. We'll get parked in there. Alright. Now it's raining. I want to stay in here where it's dry. And for the most part, I'm going to try not to tab through most of the vehicles, because you wouldn't be able to tab in real life. That's something I kind of want to avoid doing as well. Alright, so we're going to go in here, and we're going to look for something to get us some fairly quick money. Get us at least something so we have a positive bank account. Oh, look at that. We got 13,000. Ooh, there's 20,000 for plowing. It's a nice size tractor and a nice plow. Let's see, field 16. Let's go see how big. Oops. Let's go see how big that is. Field 16. Ooh, that's a big old long field. But it's right north of here. It's right near where we're trying to build our house. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and accept that contract. And I just messed that up, didn't I? Yes, I did. Let's mess that up. We're gonna fail that contract because yeah, there's a lesson learned. I remembered this from before, so now we're gonna have to take the 13,000 one for field 7. How's that one look? I remember the last time I did this when I first started playing, I forgot that field 7's all the way over there. It's a long way to go with that tractor. Whew. I really wish I wouldn't have messed that up. Let's see. If we collect that, does it change anything? At least it didn't put us in the negative money, that's for sure. I really don't want to go to field 7 though. That's a long ways to go. I'm gonna really have to eat that mistake. That was that one hurt. That one would have been an easy one. Okay, let's look at where 19's at. 19's right there next to the shop. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so this time we're gonna hit borrow items, and as we see, as we see the items spawned in right here, we're gonna hop out, go over here. One of these awesome John Deere tractors. And let's turn off the parking brake. And get us hooked up here. Now, another thing I like about doing these missions and stuff too is they tend to pick different pieces of equipment for different jobs, different farmers. Gives you a chance to kind of experiment and see what you're interested in doing, what you're interested in buying, I should say, when it comes time to buy your equipment. Alright. Make sure there's no cars coming. Alright, this should be a pretty quick go here. And I do realize that starting off like this, putting it on hard difficulty and changing all that, gonna make it hard to follow sometimes if you guys are just sitting here watching me plow fields and stuff. So I'll probably cut scenes for when we do some plowing, and unless I have something interesting to discuss about my plans or questions to ask you guys for feedback. We'll see what we can get going here. That is an awfully long cultivator. Please forgive my driving. It takes me a minute sometimes to kind of get lined up here. Alright. And I'm obviously not going to be able to use any hired workers because I don't have any money. So let's put that down. I know one of the mods that I will be adding in the future is going to be the guidance steering, or the new GPS mod that's out. I do have it downloaded. I have messed around with it. I do like it. I do plan on using it. Or at least putting it on here, so I got the option for it. I know during the contracts and the leases and stuff, you can't lease equipment for a contract like this and get the GPS on it, which again, that's kind of inherent to the new way that the GPS works versus FS19. So just something we got to deal with. So I may be doing some freehand here. And may also fast forward through this part. for the cultivating and whatnot, or plowing, working the fields a lot like this, and just play some music in the background while I'm fast forwarding it. But if you got an opinion on whether you just like it to cut or if you'd like it to fast forward, again, feel free to leave me some info down below. And don't feel like you can't say anything about other things you notice. Give me some constructive criticism. Pretty used to that. Oops, wrong button. Like, hey, don't push the wrong button when you're working a field. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Barely made that. And as I get more used to driving and kind of what we're doing and playing and used to doing the recordings and everything, we'll probably start to do some headlands around the fields and try to keep the implements on the field instead of, you know, like I did back there, and drop it way early so I make sure I get clear to the edge. Because obviously, again, you wouldn't be able to do that in real life. If you dropped it clear at the edge, you'd move the edge of your field out. And we don't necessarily want to do that, so. This doesn't look like too bad of a field. Shouldn't take too long to get it done. Hoping to get this series going for quite a while though. Obviously being on hard economics and starting off with no money, just making all of our money by contracts and whatnot, that's going to extend the playtime on this quite a bit. So, have seen a couple of videos where individuals that play with seasons, Farmer Klein's one of them. I spoke of him earlier. He get this line back up here, do a little bit better. I know he plays a lot with seasons and talks about how to work things and work your fields and manage your time and all those different things. Comes up with explanations of how your farmer in real life wouldn't be able to work an entire field in a day, or, you know, like plow, cultivate, sow, and fertilize in a day. You wouldn't get that done. That's just an unrealistic expectation. So I'm going to keep my time scale on about 5 times for now. We're going to kind of start gauging this. Again, since this is the first time I'm playing this map, we're going to gauge our time, see how things go. Plan things out, see if we can get our farms. We'll use these contracts to help gauge how long it's going to take to work some of these fields. If I'm doing 2 and 3 contracts in a game day, that's probably not a real good situation. You wouldn't normally be able to take on a job and complete it, travel to another site, and take on another job in a day in real life. So there'd be some downtime in there for you to find your job, your next job, I should say. And of course, that message flashing it once in a while. I will admit I was kind of curious of how they were going to handle that when I first started looking at the game after it came out, and you know, everybody's making videos about how the contracts work and everything else, and I'm like, Well, what keeps you from, renting a piece of equipment and taking it over and working your field? But it's quite obvious they flash that up and they don't let you do anything. Good way to handle it, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and cut here. I'll fast forward through the rest of the field work, and I'll catch up with you guys when we get this field done. Enjoy. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull it back down from the fast forward at this point. If you noticed in the upper right hand corner, I did get a notification that the contract is finished for this field. As of right now, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the realism part. Thank you, Giants, for giving me a little bit of leeway on that, saying that the field is finished and is cultivated. But I know that in a real life situation, I'm not going to get paid full price for contract for getting a field done if I leave part of it undone. That's just not going to happen, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this out. And we're also going to take the tractor back down to the shop. Try to do my best here to stay in the field and not go off the edge too much, but we are going to take the tractor back down to the shop because it would be kind of a long walk. Get down to the shop from here if the tractor were to just disappear on us. And also too, right before I went to fast forward so I could work this field, I talked a little bit about time management and kind of working with seasons. Farm Sim can be, you know, a very, very soothing game in the fact that you can come in here, you can sit down, you can drive a tractor. It's not one of those types of games where you really have to worry much about you dying. With seasons, there is the aspect of your animals dying. There's the aspect of losing some crops. But in the grand scheme of things, the amount of stress that you feel playing Farm Sim is far less than any other sim game really that you play. And I think we kind of lose sight sometimes of that. You know, I see people trying to get millions of dollars or trying to get equipment that works these huge fields in such short amount of time, or they use equipment that's too big for the field, or just all sorts of different things. Probably wouldn't drive on the field, would you? Just all sorts of different things that you really wouldn't do, or you would do, depending on your situation and in real life. And I think, you know, in this Let's Play, I want to kind of stress sticking to a good schedule, sticking to a good time frame for things, trying to do things the right way, like finishing the fields and whatnot. I think for this it's kind of important, and I want to feel the stress, not just from the weather. You know, are we going to lose crops because the weather doesn't cooperate or not? I want to feel it from the standpoint of, you know, we may not have enough time in the day. So I did take note on that. I think we probably started at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, somewhere in that area, working this field. So that means that if we started at 8:30, that would have taken us 3 hours to cultivate that field. And I think that was probably a little bit faster than what it really should have been. I think maybe it should be later in the afternoon. So as I go through this Let's Play, I may decide to adjust the time up to 10 times and see how it goes. Again, we'll have to see how things work out with different sizes of equipment. And, you know, because this might have been a rather large implement. I haven't used the Limpkin, so I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and jump out of here. Let's get our map out of the way. And we're going to come over here and get our pickup so we can stay dry. We're going to... Oh yes, the lovely saving content when you hit escape. So we're going to go ahead and collect on that. And now we have $3,450 from our contract income, and we have completed our first job and actually made some money. I'm pretty happy with that. Not happy with the fact, however, that it is raining. That kind of sucks. So We do need to have kind of a goal in mind, I guess, where we're going. And I think the first goal that I want to try to have is I want to buy this plot of land, plot 15, since this is where the house is supposed to go. That's kind of what I want to work towards buying. And if we look down here, we can see the value of that is $196,000. So obviously, we're going to have to, worry about keeping a little bit of extra money in the bank, something along that lines. So I've got quite a bit of work to do to try to get us to $200,000, or maybe even $250,000. It'd be nice to have a little bit of a cushion when we buy that land, to have some other room for some expenses and things like that. And I do have a mod on here, which I think, personally, I think is pretty cool. If we go to, I think it's in farmhouses. Yeah, right here. There's a farm tent, believe it or not. And I think I'm going to start out with this, so we at least have some place to sleep. And to keep true to the story, the tent's going to be there until we can get enough money built up to pay for the house. We may, at some point, we may take out the bank loan, like I talked about. I want to try to stay away from the loan if I can. But I realize you probably would take out a bank loan to buy a house. So we may look at that. I do have a trailer home, I think. This is one that I can sleep in. It's only about $25,000. So we may look at starting out with putting an old beat up trailer home on. And we'll live in the tent until the trailer home, it shows up. It gets moved there. Obviously this one's not getting built because it's not in the greatest of shape. You can see there's a tarp on the roof, so it's a pretty beat up old house, or trailer home. So I might look at buying that, but I definitely want to get the land first, before I really have some place to put this. And like I said, I'm going to entertain maybe getting the bank loan to buy the land after we get some money going, get ourselves established in the community, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and let's see what's on the docket now for another contract, and let's see if old DC Sparks can do this without messing this thing up. There's that field 7 again, and I tell you, that's a nice chunk of change. That's going to get us a ways up there, but it's also going to cause, it's going to take a lot to do that. Field 7. Oops, I always do that. Field 7. That's a pretty good size field. Let's see what else we got. What's the next largest contract down? That would be cultivating field 23. Let's see where we're at. I still gotta learn where all the fields are. 23 is pretty good size. I think 7 is actually about the same size as 23. We may go ahead and do this field 7 thing. $13,000 is going to be pretty healthy. Let's go ahead and do that. And remember, borrow items. We're not going to just accept the contract. Oh, whoa. No, I do not want to cancel the... See, you got to be really careful with these buttons. Oh, I had some issues with this the other day. I hope that plow's not stuck. That's not going to be good. Oh, there it goes. It's doing the plow dance. It's doing the I'm stuck in the ground plow dance. Let's see what we can get done here with this. I've noticed that plow on Farm Sim 19, when it spawns in for a contract, and that thing tends to be stuck in the ground and dance and shake all over the place. Let's see here. Oh, these are some awesome physics. This is cool. Let's try disconnecting. There, we got it set. That's all it takes. Sometimes it's just a little bit of finesse. Alright, let's turn our map back on and see if we can figure out how we're going to get over there to field 7. This might be an adventure, trying to figure out how to get over there. Like I said, I think we're going to have some adventures on this map, because this is technically my first time actually playing Pleasant Valley 19. Ooh. Not real sure that this tractor and this plow are real well matched with each other, but it's what they gave us, so that's what we're going to get to do. So some other options that I've done in the past, rather than buying land and buying a house and getting a place to get started, is I've looked at buying a tractor, so that way I can start to accumulate some equipment. But I always fight with, when I buy equipment, where am I going to park it? Because I can't keep, staying in a hotel room in town. And you know what? I am going to go ahead and, no, you know what? Next episode, we'll go ahead and we'll bump the time up on this, and we'll see how it goes, because I think 5 times is going to be a little bit too slow, because this will be our second contract for today. But anyway, as I was saying, I think that, playing the storyline as we live in a hotel, I don't think they'd be real happy with parking a tractor and a fertilizer spreader and a plow and like all that kind of stuff. I don't think they'd be real happy with us parking that in the hotel parking lot next to our truck. I mean, the pickup they'd probably be okay with, but I'm sure somebody probably come knock on our door and be like, sir, is that your John Deere in the parking lot? Of course, this is a farm community, so maybe not. They might just be used to it. But I think this go around I'm going to start with getting me some land first. We might see, might have to negotiate with the banker and find out if we can get enough to buy a little bit of equipment. Maybe we can get a smaller old tractor, and when we buy field 15, we can have that tractor to work our own stuff. We'll have to see how negotiations fare with the banker. Might even have to throw some luck into it. Use the roll of a dice or some sort of, random number generator and come up with some sort of answer for how the banker's going to handle it. Might be kind of an interesting turn on how things go. Woo! Still adjusting my settings too on steering wheel. They got reset somehow. Not sure if there was an update that reset them or what it was. But I'm still trying. My dead zones all got reset to 14, and I'm like, well, that kind of is not what I wanted. Oh, look at that. We got a little forestry spot there. At least one of them, I think. I know I'm driving in the middle of the road, but this plow is pretty big. We just have to pull over if we see anybody. Oh, I think there's a car down there on the left. I think they got some of the traffic spleens done on the map. I'll tell you again, I'll reiterate this. Dave does an amazing job on these maps. I can't believe sometimes the attention to detail that he puts into them. Oof, I'm telling you, that is one squirrely tractor with this plow on the back. Whew, that field's big. It's a biggin'. Alright, let's go ahead and unfold while we're pulling up here. And I am going to do a bit of overlapping with this, I'm sure. Alright, let's go ahead and drop that plow down and get to going. Now, the last time I tried to do a contract, which I was kind of insinuating towards this anyway. The last time I tried to do a contract with this tractor, or this size of tractor and this plow, on the map I was doing, there was a little bit of a hill in the field, and it was causing some issues. The back end of the plow was swinging around. Wasn't really too thrilled with how it all worked out. Hopefully this one will go a little bit better. So this is definitely a 4X map, so we may not be able to work the whole thing by ourselves, especially during this Let's Play. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with this map as far as doing the Let's Play, because even though it's too big and there's probably too many fields, too much stuff going on for one person to do all of this, I need to learn the map, for one, and for two, I think it'll give me some space to where I can say maybe, you know, put down quite a few animal pens, or when the factories start coming out for the map, I'll have a place to put the factories. And I think Dave kind of plans it out pretty well, like he leaves space for the factories, but considering that I'm the only one playing on here, I may want them in a different location than what he's designing for the factories to go. And I'm probably going to do some streaming with this map as well. Not actually the Let's Play. It'll be probably my dad and I. I've gotten him into Farm Sim, and he's really enjoying it. I just got to get him switched over to Farm Sim 19. He's still kind of stuck on 17. We've got quite a bit invested in a game over there on 17, and he's having difficulties letting it go, which I kind of understand. I am too. We managed to get up to about $72 million in capital. Well, I shouldn't say even in capital. I should say in liquid cash funds, and we kind of did it the hard way, you know, teaching him how to play the game. We didn't do it as hard as we did on this one. I logged in, we were on, I believe, on medium difficulty, and we logged in, and the first thing I did was sold all the equipment, so we had like $2 million left and no equipment. And then we started buying our equipment and our land as we needed to, as we saw fit. And so now we're up to about 72 million in cash, and we own quite a few factories and stuff like that on that map. It's Pleasant Valley 17, and so I definitely understand the difficulty letting go. I've had it as well, but I'm hoping I can talk him into a transition from the FS19 Pleasant Valley map to possibly coming into FS19 Pleasant Valley map. I think it'd be kind of interesting, kind of fun. My only concern is the global company scripts are just starting to bring things out, so there's not any real factories. I think I had to download a couple of mods for this map, specifically when I got it. I'm way overlapping that. And one of them was the Shell Fuel Factory. So they may be coming faster than I think they are, but we'll see. And may take me that long to get him to switch over to where they've got all the factories and stuff done. But I'm trying to talk him into doing hard mode, difficult, you know, start with 0 money type of thing like what I'm doing here, because I really feel like it extends the gameplay and extends the realism. Alright, we gotta figure out the alignment a little bit better on this plow. Well, I say we, I gotta figure out the alignment a little bit better on this plow. Going the other direction. The easy answer would be just to come down the other side of the field. Ooh, this is gonna be a big one. This really is a big one for this plow. This may fix my timescale. May fix my timescale issues. Kind of glad now that I waited to raise that timescale. And in the spirit of trying to do realism, I actually have the enhanced or something like that, enhanced crop destruction mod on, where not only does it destroy the crops, but it destroys the stubble and the seeds and everything. So may have to do some figuring out on how that's going to work. But as I said, I plan on this being an adventure for both of us, considering, you know, I've kind of waited a while to jump into FS19, so there's some things about it that I don't know yet. There's new mods coming out that are different than they were in FS17. The map is quite a bit different than it was. Well, I should say it's totally different, not quite a bit different, but it's totally different than the Pleasant Valley in FS17. So we got some learning to do on this. But hopefully it's an enjoyable learning experience. All right, let's see here if we can. Yeah, I know it's reserved. It's huge. Let's zoom out a bit. There we go. I don't mind a little bit of overlap, but that huge amount of overlap I had before was too daggum much. I'll be interested to see as well. One of the things I noticed on seasons, you might log out of the game, and it doesn't matter if it's on dedicated server or if it's on a local game. You might log out of the game and it's a bright sunshiny day, great temperatures, no clouds in the sky in FS17, and you'd log back in and it'd be pouring cats and dogs on you, and you're like, you know, it's only been a minute and the weather changed that much. So I'm kind of hoping they maybe caught a hold of that and cleaned it up a little bit, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it was even a synchronization or a lag issue to where it was actually doing it in game and just wasn't showing it. But we'll see. Boy, let me tell you what. Oh, that was a struggle. Okay. I'll be honest with you, there was a couple of times in there where I thought about doing something different than that whole finish and the whole field. I know there was a couple of spots in there that I missed, but yeah. Whew. That was rough. It is pretty late in the day. It is 9 minutes till 9 in game, obviously. For the clock up there, it's a little past 9 if you're looking at the real clock. But anyway, so we finally got that field done. I think that we're going to take this equipment back to the shop and probably call it for the first episode for this Let's Play after this. I don't really have any place to sleep yet, so I can't make the night go any faster, so I'll have to just do a regular fast forward of 120 times and get us into the next morning before I do the next episode. But, oh, train tracks. But I'll get that set up between now and the next recording. And I think for future recordings, we're going to try to avoid using this specific plow. I had a couple of issues with it. Kind of doing some weird stuff. You might have seen me back up a couple of times during that fast forward section. But, oh, and then it does stuff like that and breaks off street signs, and wow. Yeah, so see, this is just squirrely. There's been other times on other maps where I've used this, and it seems like that it either spawns in really weird, like I had some trouble getting it to hook up on 2 or 3 different maps because it spawns in under the ground and then throws me around, pushes me all over the place. So I think we're going to avoid doing any jobs that's got this plow, so we may have to do some smaller ones until we get enough revenue to buy our own plow. But I do have the John Deere disc mod in here, so I may try to start using that eventually, depending on how much money we get saved up. So the plan is for the Let's Play, I am gonna do it in seasons, because I am doing this map in seasons. Seems like it should go together pretty well. So we're gonna do 24 different episodes-ish, somewhere in there. We'll see how they line up with the different days. Record about 1 game day per episode, and then after 24 episodes, that'll be the end of quote-unquote Season 1. So Season 1 of my recordings will match up with the season timelines that we go through on the map. And hopefully, you know, through the map updates and mod updates and things, we don't have any issues where we have to restart the map. That would be pretty difficult to get around, but we'll figure it out. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then probably between the seasons, I'll take a little bit of some breaks. Because I plan on making some videos for some other games and stuff. Just, I don't know, seems like it'd be kind of fun. But we'll see how things go. So hopefully we can get 24 episodes out of this. Get some good content in here. If you guys have any suggestions on anything you'd like to see me do, please feel free to drop it in the comments below. Tell me to pay attention to my map so I can see where I'm going. It's pretty dark right now. This is kind of difficult to see where I'm going. But anyway, yeah. And if you like what you saw, I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd smash that like button at the bottom, and possibly even the subscribe button, so you can get some notifications about when I create new videos. And yeah, we'll get this tractor parked, and then hopefully I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for checking us out. Oh, looks like I almost forgot to collect that. Oh, I gotta collect this. Forgot I drove this all the way back, because if you collect at the field, then yeah, you don't get the get the tractor. So let's get out of my tractor here. And let's collect that before we end this. Alright, there we go. A little bit of revenue. So anyway, thanks guys. Have a good one.